Welcome everybody on a Tuesday night. This is AZcrypto. I'm here with my partner right here, no one other than MrFOMO. MrFOMO, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. Ready to talk about some stablecoins tonight.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a way to make free money. And you might be thinking to yourself, free money, is that possible? Well, usually only in crypto, to be honest with you. You can earn free money. When you talk about free money, you know, it's not like you got to worry about this thing going up and down. USDC, that's the first stablecoin we're going to talk about today, is pretty safe. It's as safe as you could get in crypto. You don't have to worry about going up. You don't have to worry about going down. And we're going to call them rewards. We're not going to call them interest. You can gain interest. We're going to talk briefly about crypto.com and Voyager. They are a little different. The nice thing about Voyager and our Voyager codes, if you want to use them, get $25 free of Bitcoin, is below either of us. We'd love that. No strings attached, MrFOMO. You can put in as much money as you want, as much money as you're comfortable. And remember, it's safe. You know, as far as I know, the Voyager's had great issues of security. Okay. You're getting that USDC, and you're getting 9%. Now, you used to be able to get as high as 10.5 based on the loyalty program. That did change because now the boosts are in VGX, which we'll talk about another day. And on CRO, you could technically get as much as 14, but you do have to stake 44,000 in the CRO token. So it's a whole nother issue. It's not really free at that point.
Like you're putting down thousands of
dollars. But other platforms, Gemini, fluctuates from 9 to 10. Basically, what we're telling you guys is there is an opportunity now to get 9% rewards, call it whatever you want. We're not going to call it interest because the interest is kind of connected to taxes. And tell our loyal viewers, we're getting more and more each episode, why this may not last forever.
This almost seems too good to be true, that 9%. But to me, as Voyager expands, they won't be able to offer that 9% because it would require that continuous growth and continuous, money coming in to keep offering that to everyone. And then they would also have to find places to lend that money out or find places to stake the USDC on their own. And it becomes increasingly harder as that money gets larger. I mean, it's hard.
I did hear Steve Ehrlich, who's the CEO, say they're pretty locked in for now, at least for this year, for that 9%. So that's a great sign. Bottom line is the 9%, and it's different on each exchange, but basically, you got to think about it as credit card rewards. Basically, you use a credit card, you get cash back. Now, you're not getting your cash back in USDC, but whether it's CRO or VGX, you're welcome to, not financial advisors, sell that for USDC if you really wanted to. But basically, that 9% is cumulative. Okay, the more you have in, the bigger piece of that 9%. And you know, some people much wealthier than us, they've made, I know this for a fact, they've made a killing already in 3 or 4 or 5 months. They've made money that, you know, technically we're not tax experts, but technically these are considered rewards. Even the CEO said this is not a taxable event. When you use your debit card, they're making basically free money just for holding a stable coin, which is amazing.
To me, and to me, stable coins, a lot of people will say that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the gateway drugs into crypto. But to me, and if you're talking about the gateway drug to mass adoption for retail, I think USDC is the way to go. I think it offers you that stability. It stays pegged to the dollar, so the value doesn't fluctuate. And then, you know, you earn that massive interest. You know, Bank of America is giving you what, 0.15%. You know, it doesn't matter what bank you go into. They're not giving you a full percentage point anymore, not even the credit unions. And so getting 9%, you do the math on your own money. And on top of that, with Voyager, it pays out monthly. And so you're probably going to get more in 1 month than you would get an entire year from your savings account.
Yeah, and you can get the money in and out whatever you want. It's pretty, I mean, look, nothing in crypto is 100% safe. Let's be honest. Anything can happen. But this is as safe as it gets. And like I said, that USDC is never going to change, which is great. Now, there are a lot of banks that are not happy about this. That's why I think it won't. I think places like Voyager and CRO, crypto.com, they're going to offer it for as long as they can. Whether that's a year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, we can't tell you. I mean, we'd be lying if we say, hey, 5 years from now, this is going to be there. We don't know that. We're not going to lie, but it's there now. So if you have the means, and let's say you just got into crypto, you've got some BTC, but you haven't bought any alts and you don't feel comfortable doing it, like you said, this is a great way to jump in. Get your 9%. Maybe you feel more comfortable buying alts in the future. Maybe you don't. Get your 9%. Get your B. I mean, there's some people that are setting themselves up for the future like never before. Young people just doing BTC and USDC. It's that simple. It's not complicated.
Yeah, and it really is that simple. And when you talk about the simplicity of it, when you think about banks and even the most conservative banks, like we were talking, I spoke to a guy from HSBC, which is a very conservative bank. They won't touch most cryptos, but the ones that they will touch, the ones that they are interested in are Bitcoin, stable coins, and possibly central bank digital currencies. But that's it. And so that tells you how safe these stable coins like USDC are when you have these very conservative banks that are very averse to crypto. They don't like crypto at all. They're willing to dip their toes into those wells. I think that's a good point to think about safety. Or
one thing I want to say too about USDC before we move on to Tether, one of your favorite coins. No, not really, but USDC has a partnership with Visa. Visa does allow people to settle debts with USDC. That's a pretty strong partnership. You know, it doesn't get more real than that. They're audited every week. Yes, technically they're being investigated, but let's say this, all stable coins right now are being investigated. I'm not worried about the USDC. They're very transparent. Circle is very upfront.
And Visa is not just partnering with them. Visa is settling transactions with USDC already. So that's not and as far as I know, if Voyager's working with MasterCard on their debit card, then they would also be settling transactions in US.
That's correct. These places are basically they're accepting USDC on your behalf, and it's translating to the dollar, and you don't have to worry about it. That's the beauty of the debit card. And like I said, you're getting rewards, you're getting cash back and reward. It's almost like double. You got to think about it. Where are you going to get that? Really quickly on the Voyager card, there is a routing number. So if you really want to get crazy, you could deposit checks in there, but you can pay some major bills on there that you couldn't do with a regular credit card, and you're getting that 3%, and you're getting 9% of whatever you have in there. That's great. So again, if everyone wants to take advantage of that, both our cards are down below. Really quickly, before we get to the state of the market, because the market is in a very interesting situation early in 2022, why don't you tell us a little bit about Tether? Because Tether is a little different.
Tether is a little bit different. Tether is not truly decentralized, and I don't think any stable coin really is outside of the DAOs. And I'm not crazy about the DAOs anyway because of just some of the odd tokenomics. I'm not really sure about investing in them yet or putting my money there. And I've also heard that they fluctuate or seen that they fluctuate in price, so that doesn't seem very stable to me. But Tether is a stable coin. It does fluctuate in very extreme market conditions, but it usually sticks right at one. It's the most widely traded. It's, I think, number 4 on coin market cap. So it has a huge market cap. People are using it all over the world, but it's centralized. They have 30% of their holdings, or 30% of their USDT is backed by commercial paper, which means that it's basically like a bond, like a promissory note that they use to get money in quickly so that they could settle short-term debts like payroll or things like that. And so they've either purchased or somehow acquired this commercial paper. And so their 30% of their holdings are actually backed by debt. And you get back into the fractional banking that your regular bank does. And, if there was a run on Tether, then you'd have a problem just like you would at your bank. And so that's one of the things that bothers me about Tether. And then also when we talk about centralization, they have I don't know what they call it, but they can trigger something that will lock up a wallet. And so they just locked up an ETH wallet on December 30th that had 1 million USDT in it.
Wow.
And the person can't transact with that USDT now.
Now, you said something really important. A lot of people use Tether, but sometimes it's not by choice. So, for example, KuCoin, you have to buy by pairs. So on some exchanges, you can just buy the coin. You can just buy Cardano, but some places you have to buy Cardano with a Tether pair or a BTC pair. So I don't know if people are using it because they love Tether.
Well, yeah, as far as I know, that's why it's the most widely used, because there's so many pairs with it and on the swaps. And so on an exchange where most people will end up purchasing their coins, they're not going to have to deal with Tether, like you said. But if you go on KuCoin, or if you're dealing with some of these swaps, you've got to tether up, then you've got to dive into, and we can get more into that when we talk about Luna and why that works out with Luna. But people have to tether up in order to get some of these major pairs, like you said. And even some of the newer pairs seem to be paired with Tether too. So the newer coins, you've got to get, sometimes ETH, but sometimes Tether as well.
And the big thing is you're not getting any rewards with Tether. As far as I know, we've looked and checked. They're basically you're holding it because you have to. That's it. I mean, you got to know what it is. And if you are going to operate in KuCoin, they do have some projects that are difficult to get somewhere else, right? So what you can do if you're on Coinbase, or if you are on Voyager, you can buy some Tether and send it over and do that. But like I said, you're doing it because you have to, not because you want to. I mean, no one wants to do a pair. As far as if I could just buy the alt, let me buy the alt. Well, I mean, the pair.
I mean, there are some really truly decentralized people that are very, the people that don't want to do KYC or know your customer, for those of you who don't know, but they don't want to do KYC. They want to be completely anonymous. Those kind of people hate the idea of, not using.
The problem with that is regulation at some point is going to come. And I don't know if places like KuCoin are going to be able to operate that way. I'm going to assume no. Who knows when it's going to happen, but I don't see it. So I think those are the two. But basically, one last thing here is this is not going to last forever. So if this sounds like something that's good to you, look at our codes. You put 100 down in USDC, you're getting that free 25 Bitcoin by using one of our codes. Think about it. Like I said, do your own research. We're not financial advisors, but this opportunity is not going to last forever. And we both know personally people that are really benefiting. They're making some money that they never would have made before. And it's making their lives easier. And it's not hard. It's real. It's not like it's very complicated. You're not getting on exchange. You're opening up an account. You're putting money in. You're buying USDC. Boom. 1 month later, you've got your rewards. It's really that simple. I really want to talk about the market because some people are getting scared. We are going back and forth around between mid 45s to 47, 48. And really now we've been down since November, right before Thanksgiving, about a week before Thanksgiving. We've been down. One point on that Friday late at night, we hit 42 just like that. And we've bounced back a little bit, but we got up to 50 right before the new year. Then we went back down. I'm not concerned. This reminds me a lot of May, June, and in July 20th was the day where the switch kind of flipped. But I'm not concerned. Tell our viewers what you think. Are you worried about where the market is right now?
No, I mean, your view of the market depends on your perspective. You hear all these guys, some of the guys that we really respect that are in the space, they always talk about zooming out. When in doubt, zoom out. And I think that's what you've got to do here. Even if you've just gotten into the market, if you've just gotten into BTC and you're like, well, what did I do with my money? Take a step back, zoom out, and look at Bitcoin since 2009. Look at it since 4 years ago. Look at those larger timelines and see that, you're on the verge of something great here. And so to me, it's just accumulating strength. To me, it's showing its strength at this level. It's showing that it can hold at this level. It's showing that, despite the negativity in social media and on the news and wherever else, it's still holding strength at those levels.
A lot of the alts are holding out pretty well. And here's the thing. Let's say you didn't get to watch our draft, which was our amazing first episode, our premiere episode. You feel like, oh, I missed out. It's too late. A lot of those coins haven't run because of we talked about this BTC dominance in our BTC episode. You still got a chance. So if you haven't, go back, watch that, do your own research, and guess what? You're getting some great prices still. And I would say, again, not financial advisors, don't dump everything in at once. We might be going sideways for a few weeks, and you can DCA. You put a little here, come back in a couple of weeks. You know, you don't have to put everything down tonight.
That's honestly the best way to do it, really. As volatile as this market is, as up and down as it is, I mean, we've learned the hard way ourselves on that. We get our Biden bucks. At least I did. I got my Biden bucks and I threw them straight down, and then turn around in the market took a little bit of a dip right after that. It's a stressful time, you know, and when you are tight on money or when you don't have a lot of money, that makes it a lot more stressful. So DCA is the best way to go.
Definitely, because we don't know how long this is going to last. Could be days. I mean, we could Friday, all of a sudden the light switch could turn on and we could be above 50 and running. We could be in this position 2 weeks from now. I don't think anyone really, even the best TA guys, they can't tell you what's the date and time. A lot of people were saying towards the end of July, and they were right. But then there are some people, if you go back and listen, they're like, hey, we're in a bear market. I give up. It's been May, June. So,
or they were saying October will be great. No, wait, November will be great. Wait, December will be great. Wait, money's coming in.
No one that I know predicted a down December. Not one mega influencer on YouTube. That caught everyone by surprise. We're, like I said, we might still be getting a blow off top to this run, but right now we're nowhere close. So again, if you do want to get in, do your own research, take a look at our picks. Some of them have started running. One of my favorites, HBAR, had a decent night last night. Slowly, so we're gonna have to do a whole episode, and that's the exciting thing is we're gonna start breaking down, since the market is kind of going sideways. We're gonna start breaking down projects. What's going to be great is we're going to give our opinions, and we're going to give our would you buy or would you not. Again, we're not financial experts. We're going to give you a verdict, mine and MrFOMO's. You can kind of decide for yourself how interested you are in those all. So that's coming, guys. You got anything else to say for our viewers tonight?
Just some crazy stuff going on today. Sol had a DDoS attack. They apparently went down for a little bit. You know, and that actually that Tether story is fairly new. That Tether on December 30th, that $1 million wallet being locked up.
Wow.
That's going to bother a lot of people. I have a feeling you're going to see a lot more people running to USDC from Tether when they see that. Like you said, not a lot of people are using Tether by choice, but I think that might also be something that drives people to exchanges or to different routes. But a lot of different stuff going on in the market. There is one company, I think, is it Cosmos or is it Polygon? One of them is partnering with a company called Real World Assets, where they're going to be tokenizing real world assets. So that's something to look out for. Much like Particle and VG or Voyager, where they're tokenizing parts of very expensive paintings, and you can get a piece of, like a Banksy that we missed out on.
Mm-hmm. And Samsung is also getting in the NFT game too. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
I do have one last thing to add. If any of you have been trapped on Robinhood, you got tricked into Robinhood, like, you know, maybe us, who knows, when we first got started. The crypto wallet is finally coming supposedly in the next 30 to 60 days. So if you have any crypto on Robinhood and you haven't sold, you're supposedly going to finally be able to transfer. I don't know what the fees are probably going to be really high. I don't know. But if you are, a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people got in through Robinhood. They were doing regular stocks. Robinhood has a few coins, not a lot, just some of the very basics. They got ETH Classic, you know, they got Doge, they obviously have BTC and ETH. But if you are in that situation, the waiting list was insane. They give you a waiting list number, but it does look like, supposedly, knock on wood, you're finally be able to get out of there, which thank God, because there's no benefit to being there.
And to me, I can't imagine that they wouldn't have high fees to get out of there. I would imagine that they're going to set those fees pretty high, because if what you're saying is true, and there's a lot of people that want to get out of Robinhood. I know I sold out of Robinhood. I just wasn't going to wait for that. But if there's a lot of people waiting to get out, they're going to lose out on a lot of liquidity.
Well, you're probably going to have to do a cost analysis in terms of, is it better to sell or is it better to transfer? So I don't know the transfer rates. Maybe we'll talk about that on a future episode. But thank you guys so much. Please let everyone know about our channel. We want to grow this thing better and ever throughout the year. So for Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a wonderful night, everybody.